Well, it was interesting how much the hashtag #MeToo generated conversation among women my age. And everywhere I was going, I was listening and talking. And then I talked to my daughters. I have 3 daughters and 1 son. And 2 of my 3 daughters have experienced sexual harassment and 1 sexual assault. And I just thought about, it made me think about when I was younger and what I had experienced and how I never said anything, I never reported anything. I just accepted it as the way it was. And when I heard from my daughters, I felt like I should have. If I could have, I should have, because maybe then they wouldn't have had to experience it.
Some of the feelings you described in the statement you released last week were guilt and shame. It might be surprising to someone to find that someone as confident and powerful as the president of the university experiences those same emotions as everyone else when they go through this experience. Why do you think those emotions are tied to this experience when a victim has done nothing wrong?
No. I think it's a combination of things. Some of it is about, you always reflect, did I somehow do something to invite this? That's the first thing I always do is, did I say or do something was there an invitation I wasn't even aware of that I made? For me, a lot of my guilt is how I didn't deal with it afterwards. So just recently, and this is only about 4 years ago, I was at a large meeting in the United States, and there were a lot of people from Saskatchewan and Alberta and British Columbia there, and older man from North Dakota was chatting with me, and he was a very well accomplished businessman, and he started to touch me inappropriately, and I was stunned. So I moved. All I did was move. And then he followed me and did it again. So I was so uncomfortable, I got my coat and left the event. And on the way up the hill towards my hotel, I almost got physically ill. Like, I felt so accosted, right? And just so shocked that it all happened and that I didn't do anything. And why I didn't do anything, time one, I was so shocked. And the second, I looked around and all of these business people and politicians, and I thought, am I going to make a scene? And that's what women think. Am I going to make a scene? And how can I get out of this situation with the least amount of attention? Because I didn't want attention on me. And I was wrong. But it isn't until you go back and you're sitting in your hotel room and you're thinking about it. And I shared it with my husband, and he said to me, if you at your age and you in your position don't know how to handle that, how does our 24-year-old daughter know how to handle something like that? And that stayed with me and made me think about it over and over again. And I could have handled that situation differently, but I didn't. And so that man didn't hear from me that what you're doing is wrong, it's inappropriate, please stop that. All he did is see me leave, as quietly as I could.
What is the lesson then for all of us who hear this story from you about how to respond? Because it is so common in the moment of something happening that makes us feel uncomfortable that we do respond exactly as you did, with a little paralyzed by the surprise of it all and just wanting to get out. What's the lesson of how to handle a situation like that? Because it is hard.
Well, the first thing is do not feel shame like I did. Because I felt shame because I didn't handle it well, right? So that's the first thing. The second is take that time to reflect and talk about it. What's really, really helped me is I've talked to other people, other women, and so many have said, I don't know what I would have done either. But then the next time it happens, because there's going to be next times, you have a plan. You have talked it through with people and said, if this happens again, something similar, this is a way that I think I'm going to handle it. What do you think? Or have you ever been in that situation, and how did you handle it? So it's about the conversation. I didn't share with very many people what happened because I felt guilty. And I felt that people would look at me and say, exactly kind of what my husband said. Well, you're very accomplished, you're confident, and you can't handle that. What's wrong with you, right? So that's what I was worried about, partly too. And so there's so many emotions you're feeling, like all of these things, and you need to talk about it. We need to talk about it as women. I need to tell my daughters that I've been in the situations they've been in and how I didn't handle it well and how I could have handled it better.
In your statement, you spoke about still fearing judgment when you talk about it. Tell me more about why that would be.
Well, so I was sharing this very story with a colleague just a couple of days ago. And she said to me, "Oh, I would have told him to take his hands off me. I can't believe you didn't say anything to him." So this is even just a couple of days ago. And I said to her, that's why I haven't shared this, because I was concerned people like you would say to me, "Why didn't you do something? Like, how could you not do something?" Well, I didn't. I left. And that judgment is there. So I wasn't, when I look at myself when I was younger, I definitely know that I was worried about people judging me, well, how could you let yourself get in that situation? What is wrong with you? So, and those were reactions I was worried about then. So women think about this all the time, right? We're judged with how we speak, what we wear, how much we drink, if we're at a function. And so all of those things are part of the guilt, the shame that we feel. We have to talk to our men, our sons, our colleagues, our brothers. We need it because this is an issue that we're in partnership with men. We do a lot of bystander training now at the University of Regina so that people will intervene, because that's part of the challenge is when you can't move and you're kind of in shock, it is very helpful if someone steps in and helps you kind of through that situation. So I think the biggest thing we're doing is talking about it. I think we have to engage the men in our society more. And I do believe and hope it's a shift. And I hope that more women talk about it. I'm still a bit uncomfortable. I'm a bit uncomfortable in this interview because I know for a fact that there will be people that will judge me on this, will judge why I'm coming out, will judge why I got in the situations I got in. But in talking to my daughters and knowing that today, in 2017, the young women in their 20s are going through this, it is my responsibility to say, it's okay. It's okay to feel the things you feel, but talk about it with somebody. Because I didn't, and it's important to do so.